Okay. So let's just do a real quick review. I know I've already done this on Saturday in the video there, but I'd like to do it a few extra times just to make sure everybody's familiar with what's going on. So you're doing your smart book work. You're doing the supplementary study materials. I will say it again. I'll probably say it 14 other times, maybe upwards to 30. This is very, very handy because you can come in here, for example, for chapter 1 or 2, and you can say, okay, well, I don't understand. I'm not understanding return on assets, for example. You can go into this video or this section of the textbook that provides videos and some quick ways of testing your knowledge. And it's pretty nifty because it's better than anything I could ever do. And right, so it gives you a problem right here. It gives you a video on how to work through it, right? And then you can answer the questions as you go. Same thing here, another video with the actual formula. Check your score and check your answer, and it gives you some explanations as to why one thing was better than the other, or why the answer was correct. So these are super helpful. I think these are only usually about, this is only, how long is this one? This one's 3 minutes long. No, this is 30 seconds long, right? No, sorry, this is almost 2 minutes long. So you got about 3 or 4. It looks like 3 or 4 videos to walk through return on assets. Gives you a quick little way of refreshing yourself on the specific topic, which comes in handy not only for the current week, but also like if you're doing an exam or a quiz refresher, and you just want to get through some of these topics and understand or remember what you had learned before. So that's that. Any questions on the study videos? Or the supplementary materials? One question that does come up often is, are those graded? And the answer is no. They used to be, and that's why they have some points associated with them. But it ended up being too much work for the it added too much to the workload. And so they removed those, but then still gave you the ability to access them and utilize them. Okay, presenters, we went over that. You have your financial statement and quiz access. Remember, you have to get 85% on this in order to unlock the quiz. And so make sure you do this plenty in time before you do the actual quiz. And then I've noticed some of you have already been checking out the Proctorio and asked questions about this. Sometimes this is persnickety, and I think Todd had a little issue with this as well. But make sure the Proctorio is working. You may have to make sure it's working several times throughout the semester. And usually, you have your little what is this called? Plugin.
Update.
Yeah, sometimes it gets updated throughout the semester and you have to double check it. The easiest way I find to double check it is to come back to your Proctorio practice test, right? Or the other option is, let me just double check that you can see this in student mode. Student, it'll take me there. Secure exam proctor. Okay, this is the one. So if you go here and you go into that link, it should tell you whether or not your plugin is successfully installed. If it is not, then you're going to have a problem, right? So every once in a while, you might just want to double check this, especially before an exam, just to make sure that your plugin is working just fine. Okay. That's what.
Quick question about how long do the quizzes take for people, like on average?
That's a great question. I can't answer that because I don't personally take them, but let's just go into one. I'll give you a preview of this one, right? Let's see what we got coming up here. So there's 15 questions. I would allocate at least 3 to 5 minutes per. That gives you about an hour for the quiz, right? I think they probably give you more, if not, well, they give you multiple tries, right? So the policies, let's see, no time limit, right? And you have multiple attempts. You can revise your attempts. Looks like you can check your work at some point, but yeah. So to answer that question, JR, I would budget about 3 to 5 minutes at a minimum to get through the questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then
Yeah.
I also had two questions because I was going through kind of like the work for this week, and I noticed that I tended to get them wrong a little bit when it talked
Uh-huh.
about revenue and dividends. What are kind of like super basic definition? Like how would you describe a revenue and how would you describe a dividend? Because those were the two that I was most commonly getting wrong.
Oh, okay. Revenue will typically come from a customer, right? Or somebody you're selling something to, you're providing a service to. So that's generally external to the company. A dividend is going to be money that the company gives to its stockholders. Okay. So I would call that like internal money to those that actually own the company. And and the other thing is revenue is typically it's always, not always, always is a strong word. Revenue is recorded on the income statement. All right. There may be, as you'll learn later on, unearned revenue that shows up on the balance sheet, but almost always you'll find revenue, just the word revenue, on the income statement. Dividends almost always, if not 100%, show up on the balance sheet within the equity section. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll be able to determine that just based on where they're at as well.
Okay.
But I think that one example, we'll just